Hold up. Wait a minute.
Bruh.
Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits. Drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring, researching, debunking, investigating. Being nosy, super nosy. Being messy, being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me, the chick with ADHD. Unmedicated, but quite educated. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like, hit that like. Let's go, let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Hi, guys. I do apologize for being extremely super late. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I do apologize. I got to make sure that I set things up. I'm waiting for my sitter too. So there's that. So it's a couple things that I'm doing and I was waiting for. That's why I'm a little late. But welcome, everybody. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. And then there was just so many things that were coming my way for today's live that I was like, I don't know if we're ready for all of this. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if we're ready for all of this. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know. But I want to start on a video specifically that there's an interesting commentary by MSNBC News, right? And, take it for what it's worth, whether you like the outlet or not. I'm not a fan of mainstream media because of the stuff that we see that they do and they selectively pick up and how they change the narrative of things, right? Because that's what they do. But this specific video I thought was very interesting because it gave a different, I think, perspective of just varying opinions about what's going on with the Epstein stuff. And you have Comey that was fired. All of this is kind of piling it up. And then I have some documents too, a letter specifically that was written by Pam Bondi to Kash Patel that we got to look at regarding Epstein files and Epstein stuff. Okay. So for people to say something different, I know there's already a gazillion clips out there, but for people to say something different, it's kind of weird at this point to see a different narrative. Now, let me move my camera over here to see a little bit of a different narrative that's being changed here by this administration and the things that they're saying. So there's that. I also have the a couple of things that with the bill that was written for the release of the files that I kind of want us to review. It's not a very long bill. And so those people that are kind of standing for the release of these files. Now, some of you guys in the comments came and said, well, what's the big deal? Like, why do we need to release these files? Because we do. Because regardless of whether you stand whichever side of the coin, this is important. This isn't about whether you're on that side or the other. It's about transparency and the truth. And if they promise something, they need to deliver on that promise. That's what they need to do. That's it. So we are going to be digging into that. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to start with this video. And then the other thing, which will be my last video. Some of you guys may not be ready for this, but I think that we'll see kind of how I feel about showing this. There was an accuser, I want to say in 2016, there's been a lawsuit on this. Her name is Katie Johnson. Well, her video is out there of her making allegations on the president. Okay. It's been unearthed, or I guess it's always been out. It's been out there for a long, long time, but it's like trending again. So this is not something that is just going to go away. This is not going to go away. But let me go ahead and play this and let me know what you guys think in the comments about their commentary.
In NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez, NBC's Julie Sirkin on Capitol Hill, and former federal prosecutor and Politico magazine senior writer Ankush Kadori. So, Gabe, the president now lashing out at his own supporters, and yet this backlash is only growing. Trump ally Laura Loomer even warning that this issue could consume his presidency. Where's the White House thinking on this morning?
Now, this lady right here, she was all for Comey to be fired. She wanted that lady to be gone. So she's happy for that. But she has a lot to say about everything that's going on with Epstein.
Well, Anna, it is very interesting. This is what you'd expect from the president. Whenever he feels backed into a corner, he really lashes out against who is attacking him. In this case, however, he's punching back at his own supporters. That's what really makes this so unusual. But if you talk to the White House, they feel they've done all they can here. They're still backing the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. The president publicly is still sticking up for her. And they say that she's done all she could, that the DOJ put out that statement. The president has been asked about this repeatedly and says that Bondi briefed him very quickly.
Of course the White House is going to back him up. I mean, that's his administration. What do you mean? Enter a name. RYT says, yeah, no one cares if the president is upset. No one gives a shit. He needs to remember that this is the release of the files. And he keeps making this worse every day. People are not going to let this go. It does not matter. Like I thought yesterday, I've had 24 hours to think about this after the news of Comey, right? I'm thinking in my mind, well, that people are going to change the narrative. This is going to change everything. People are going to be like, whatever, we're done with this conversation. I don't think so. If anything, this has made even people more concerned about the fact that this woman has been fired. And they want to look into this. They want to see what the hell this is all about. Did she have something to do? And again, looking at this in all sides, are the files a situation which she had a hand in something? Maybe she did something when this happened. But then again, she is the woman that brought individuals to justice when it came to this. So you do have to kind of wonder. It's this like thing where people aren't going to let this go. He thinks that people will forget things, but I don't think that this is going to be one of them.
But that there's no that he's encouraging her to release any credible information here, and so that right now is the open question at this point. Will Bondi release anything more than she already has? But as far
and what is credible? What is he deeming to be credible? What does she think? What is credible? Is it credible only if it's like not attacking or not exposing the people in your corner?
As we know, the president is still sticking by his attorney general, and the president himself is now lashing out at his supporters, trying to reframe this whole controversy.
Julie, we have seen Republicans on the Hill break with the president on this, and now that the president's ire is growing, are they backing down?
Sort of. I mean, some in his core MAGA base up here, especially in the House, I would say very different than Senate Republicans on this. They want to see this come out. They are questioning Pam Bondi. Some even called for a special counsel to take over. Lauren Boebert, for example, suggested it should be former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who was up for Attorney General, but that never went through. And so this is just an issue that has been brewing within the MAGA circles for years. I remember I even covered President Trump in his final days before his campaign this year, and he was talking about it, as were his allies, his conservative allies that he was bringing up on stage. Speaker Johnson, however, softening his tone earlier this week, suggesting this is a bigger issue, perhaps breaking for the first time that I've seen with the president so publicly, and then yesterday suggesting his words were taken out of context. Take a listen to this.
It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide.
I have been misquoted and misrepresented on all of that. Go watch the interview I did with Benny Johnson. It's very clear. I mean,
he was misquoted and misrepresented. Okay. All right. Okay. Whatever.
We're for transparency. I'm saying the same thing.
Outside of sanctions.
Except they're not really saying the same things the president is. Sure, the president said Bondi could release some of these files, but here's the thing. Democrats are also keeping this issue completely front and center for Republicans. For example, yesterday I scooped a resolution in the Senate by Ruben Gallego that he's trying to push, essentially a messaging vote, but all of these designed to put Republicans in a hard spot and reaffirm their desire to either get these documents out there or keep them hidden.
It looks like there's some bipartisan legislation being pushed, or a resolution in the House, with Republican Thomas Massie signing on to Democrat Ro Khanna's resolution to try to force a vote on releasing the files as soon as next week. What's the likelihood of that happening, Julie?
And this is what I mean about the differences between Republicans in the Senate and the House. Yeah, Thomas Massie, a Republican who has drawn the ire of the president basically all year long for a number of issues, teaming up with Ro Khanna, as you mentioned, to try and force a vote on the floor to essentially force the DOJ to release these documents together.
And that's the bill that we have. And so that's still kind of active and going. I think they're still going to try to push this. I mean, I'm here for it.
Get them all out there. The only issue is that resolution in the House will take 7 days before Massie and Khanna can even call around and start collecting signatures. They need 218, a majority, to be able to force Johnson's hand in getting this moving on the floor. And that's another tell here. If Johnson really wanted to force the DOJ to do this, he could by putting this on the floor himself. Clearly, he doesn't, and trusts the president to do the right thing here when it comes to the Epstein case. But for Khanna and Massie's resolution, still a while to go on that.
Gabe, there's also the fact that the president's going back on his own promises to his supporters during the 2024 campaign that he would release the files. Take a look.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
We need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
How is it that my
That didn't age very well, by the way. And this one didn't either.
father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light?
The president, his vice president, his own son, all on the 2024 campaign trail, making something out of the Epstein files. Now he wants to disavow supporters who care about the Epstein files. Gabe, the question is why? Why the about face?
Well, Anna, look, latching on to the Epstein files at one point.
You said Fox edited that. He backpedaled right after he said he would release them, says Peekaboo. Interesting.
It served him politically. Now that it doesn't, he is much less likely and much less willing to stick with it. Now, if you listen to that interview where the president was asked about the Epstein files back during the 2024 campaign, he almost was reluctantly saying it wanted to be released. If you continue that answer, he did say you had to be careful with what you release because it could destroy people's lives. That certainly something that he might feel strongly about regarding the Steele dossier years prior. But while the president didn't latch onto it as much as he's latched onto other conspiracy theories, as you just played, some of his allies, J.D. Vance, even his own son, and plenty of others did latch onto it. And now
these theories, if it's now a hoax, which I think it's ridiculous, I don't believe none of it is a hoax. But if he's going to push that, then he basically, I mean, he's already lied to a lot of voters. He basically lied to a lot of other people to get their vote. When it came to this, he misinformed a lot of people, and he still does it unapologetically. Okay, he's still saying who and what is going on and who did this and why they're fake. And then Comey gets fired. And I think at this point, they're going to make her the scapegoat, which is what we've said earlier. This is getting out of hand, and this is all his doing.
Now he can't seem to get away from it. What the administration would rather be talking about is that they're trying to sell their so-called one big beautiful bill. Vice President J.D. Vance in Pennsylvania yesterday trying to do that. And instead, here we are talking about the Epstein saga.
They can't seem to escape it. Gabe, stay close. Julie, thanks for your reporting. And Kush, you recently wrote in Politico that there may be three possibilities here of what's going on with the Justice Department on these Epstein files.
Now, this is interesting. Okay, I thought this was listen to what they have to say. And DJ Way Media, he referred to the supporters at Weaklings. I can never say that word. Weaklings, thank you. Meanwhile, these are his supporters. Yeah, he basically drew a line in the sand when it came to these supporters, very vocal supporters. Listen, I'm not a fan of Alex Jones. You'll never hear me be a fan of that man. You just won't whatsoever. But the fact that he's been saying what he's saying, and now people in the MAGA group, those heavy hitters that are like, he didn't lie to us, they're really calling him an op, like a paid operative, that Alex Jones is a paid operative. I don't know. This has become, you know what? You're right. This has become Trump Gate 2.0. I don't know. All of these presidents have a level of a gate, a Watergate, a this gate. This gonna be Trump Gate, Epstein Gate, Trumpstein Gate 2025. You can't make this ish up, y'all. You can't.
One, an actual cover-up. Two, Trump officials really believed the conspiracies until they got into government. Or three, they never believed them and were simply misleading voters. Based on the fallout over the past few days, is there one of those theories you're leaning to? What new information are you looking for?
You know, I'm keeping a very open mind at this point. I have to be honest, because the way in which the administration has pushed back on this, and Trump has pushed back on it in particular, has been very striking to me. I want to refer to what Gabe mentioned a moment ago, where Trump said, well, you know, on the campaign trail, we ought to be worried about whether there are documents or references to people that would hurt third parties. The comment that he gave recently that you also mentioned, where he said, oh, we'll release credible information. These are qualifiers he does not provide in other contexts. And, you know, when he was at this cabinet meeting last week saying, oh, this is a conspiracy theory, why are you guys harping on all this? I mean, Trump has his own conspiracy theories he's come up with, and Trump is famous for never moving on from anything. He is still talking about the Mueller investigation.
He never moves on from anything, and then he expects the people. You guys are still talking about Epstein? That guy never dies. What do you mean? But you bring up your own conspiracies. So as long as it suits you, it is so childish. I don't even know what to say. Sylvia, you're right. Imagine the kids 50 years from now reading about 2025. They're going to be traumatized about Trumpstein Gate 2025. I know, right? Rhonda, this was actually a couple days ago. She has offered. There is a formal, we did a video on this. I want to say, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Day before. It feels like such a long time ago now. We've been talking about this and covering this. They did a family statement, and they have, I don't think there's been any move to that, but there's a congressman that wants Maxwell to testify, and you know, feels like this could be very important for, you know, this country. So I'm here for it. I wanted to, I mean, this is the essence of true crime, y'all. Like, this is real situations. And I don't even know, like, you have the aspect of 1,000 victims, right? That in itself, the fact that they've been traumatized and they've gone through so many things and everything that they've gone through. But then you have criminals over here that are functioning right in front of us to conceal information. That's crazy work. It is.
So I think you look at all these things, and I have to say they raise some serious questions in my mind about whether they happen to find something that they weren't expecting to find in that material, because the very hyper defensive pushback here is frankly unlike anything I've seen from him.
It's definitely remarkable, that 180. I keep trying to understand why he's going after his own supporters on this. There's this other new development, Ankush. I'm wondering what you make out of it. The DOJ firing federal prosecutor Maurene Comey, apparently with little or no explanation. She's James Comey's daughter, former FBI director. She also played a role in the prosecution of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. What do you make of the timing of this firing amid this debate over the Epstein files inside Trump's orbit?
The timing is very curious, and I understand why people are asking questions. I mean, look, on the one hand, this administration, the White House and Trump in particular, viscerally dislikes James Comey and has been looking for ways to make his life more difficult, including by initiating a criminal investigation recently. So on the one hand, you could just see this as personal vindictiveness. On the other hand, the timing of it is raising questions among people about whether or not this may be some further effort to sort of bury the Epstein case. Now, I would say if that is the objective, this is probably not the smartest way to pursue it, because having now fired her, she is free to talk to the press if she wants to. And her father, Jim Comey, former FBI director, is famous for leaking things to the press to hurt Donald Trump, including the memos that he wrote about his interactions with Trump.
You guys hear that? She might start pulling a daddy move and being like, he taught me. But her husband is also like an attorney, right? So there's that too. So I mean, his job could also be at risk. They need to be careful, y'all. They need to be careful, because they could definitely be ostracized to a certain degree.
Early in Trump's first term. So I don't know what the objective was. I will just say if their objective was to tamp this down, the Epstein situation, and to try to push her aside and keep her quiet, this may not have been the way to achieve it.
So that is what, it's very interesting commentary. I kind of like hearing other different opinions and perspective. But I want to show you guys something. Okay, let's get into this little letter right here. Dun-dun-dun. Let's see. Dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun. Okay, girl. Sorry, she hears me sing and then she wants to sing too. All right, this is the Office of the Attorney General, Washington, D.C., a FOIA document. Okay. Give me 1 second. Dear Director Patel, and this was written February 27th of 2025. Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Let me see if I could, let me zoom into this because, my eyes. There we go. Y'all can read that, right? Let's look into to documents, okay? And by the way, please hit the like button. This is the kind of stuff they like to suppress. I showed you guys yesterday how they try to do that on one of our videos. Please hit the like button. It's important. And support the channel. Please and thank you. Okay. Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, okay? Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. Word here. This, what does it say? Epstein's list of contacts. Right there, my friends. Right there. Who wrote this? Who signed this? And who wrote? Pamela Bondi. La Pamela. She wrote this. And she signed this. Attorney General. Yeah. There you go. Which consists primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my requests, and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Okay. Y'all see that? By 8 a.m., hold up. So she says, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn this new information. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, this is 2025, okay? The FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, video recordings, material related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients. And his clients. Regardless of how such information was obtained, there will be no withholding or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosures of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of victims, okay, as they should, and in accordance with the law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. Okay. I'm also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. So, okay, we're going to talk about this here in a minute. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action within 14 days. I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country. So, wow. And we can reread that in a minute. Do the Right Thing. Thank you so much for the $10, my love. Shout out to Do the Right Thing, my veteran mod. Thank you, and supporter. Listening while at work. Just had to show some love. Thank you so much. Do the Right Thing. But what did she say? She said that there was nothing there. There was no links. Clients, but no client lists. Well, it does say Epstein's list of contacts, and we can review it again. So this is a letter. So if you guys remember, Pam Bondi was receiving a lot of backlash during the initial release, the phase one, right, of a nothing burger. There was nothing was in these files, right? It had already been released before. And so she was getting a lot of pushback. So what did she do? She brought this formally in a letter, which was FOIA'd, by the way. And it was brought up to the attention of Kash Patel. And this was February 27th, 2025. One second, guys. Sorry about that. So this is a different verbiage from what we got when they were approached on that press conference, right? Or even from the information that they released recently on that little list about no clients, no lists, no nothing, no evidence of this and that, the other. So, and it's very clear, before you came into my office, she said I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received she got over 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, okay? Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was she says right here, she questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Something happened here. So this is why her and the FBI were going back and forth. Late yesterday, I learned from a source. They got sources in the White House. I mean, what the hell is a source? An insider from one to the other? Ain't that some weird ish? I mean, aren't they in the same branch? Like they're not in the same branch, but like they're kind of like working together. It's supposed to be working together for this. So how is a source leaking information? And she's saying, well, I learned from somebody. Was it like, I don't know, at the break room, they were talking and a source came up and said, listen, it turns out that you didn't get everything. There might be another 300 or 500 files that you didn't get. I understand this. It's kind of weird, but okay. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York, look at this. So somebody tipped her off, was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. So here's my question. Comey, New York, but she's in the attorney's office, right? And my understanding is that a lot of these Epstein files were sealed there, that there was a lot more there. So maybe, is it possible that they didn't have everything? Or if they do have everything, they didn't really want to look into the other stuff that's being held in the New York office. You said the lies. The FBI is doing lie detectors on the workers to keep ish from coming out. Really? It's interesting, right? It further goes, despite my repeated request, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn this new information. So this was February 27. Kash Patel didn't even know about the fact that there's a source that called her or told her, or they were in the break room or something. Hey, Pam, did you know that the New York FBI field office got some documents, and you might not have them all. You might have the ones here that's like 200 pages, but they got like thousands, 3,000 pages over there. Some of it is under seal. It does make you wonder. So does Comey play a part in here? What, if anything? This is the FBI office, not the U.S. Attorney's office. So this is maybe a little bit something different. But this is weird. The fact that not one person has been prosecuted, right? You said, and the past administration had these files already. They should have released them in the past. These files should have been released a long time ago. I told you guys, I don't give breaks to nobody. Not that administration, not this administration. They should just release these files, redact what's necessary, and release the files. And the pushback. And now that Comey's fired, I mean, the lady could talk. The lady could talk to the media now. Is she interested? Shit, I'm just saying, I'd be like, I need $5 million for an interview. I'm not her, but I'm just thinking out loud. What does the New York field office have that they're holding on to? That this is what Bondi was upset about. Okay. So clearly they don't communicate with each other. You know, it's different offices and whatnot. Okay. Despite my repeated request, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. That office, even though she's in communication with a different office, right? She says right here, in response to my request, I received 200 pages of a document which consisted primarily of flight logs, contacts, and names. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request and repeatedly assured by the FBI. So was this a separate FBI office? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's the FBI office, I don't know, in Washington. And then, you know, there's the one in New York. So they got to do something. I mean, I'm just wondering if different branches. Maybe this is what it was. Okay. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn this new information. Is it possible? Here's another question that I have. That they had reviewed the 200 pages and documents that they had that Pam had in her desk, thinking, okay, this is it. And then she finds out that there's more. So when they pull the other documents, oh shit, Mr. President's name is on these other documents. And other world leaders, other elites, other folks, other people. Could very well be the case that they had a bunch of people. There's just so much to speculate from here. But this letter is very telling to me. I'm so glad that this was FOIA'd, because literally this was February 27th of this year, to then now go into a hold up. And let me see if I can pull that FBI specific. What did the FBI tell us? Epstein files, FBI. Because that was the memo. Okay, this was the memo. This is a whole different song and dance that they're giving us here, guys. Right? Would you agree? Think about it. This is what the FBI released. Let's zoom. Okay, wait. That's not what I want to zoom. Here it is. Let's zoom. This is what was released, right? And this is the U.S. Department of Justice. Of course, we know the DOJ and the FBI and everything, okay? As part of our commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and the FBI have conducted an exhaustive review of investigative holdings related to Jeffrey Epstein. I don't understand how exhaustive it can be, because Pam found out that the FBI office in New York was holding files, more information on Epstein. She's sitting on 200. She's calling, Becky down at the FBI office. Hey, Becky, listen, Are you sure that this is just the 200 files? Yes, 200 files. There's no more. No. And then Rhonda by the water cooler told her, hey, she's a source from the other FBI office. Hey, guess what? There's more documents over there, girl. You don't even know. There's more. Okay? I'm just making up names, y'all. I'm giving perspective to what I think this looked like. You know what I mean? So these are not real names. There's no Becky and Rhondas. I'm literally just inserting names to this, okay? You said Becky with the good hair. You put in that there, but I'm just saying. But I'm just thinking in my mind, how did this happen? Becky and Rhonda. See, Rhonda works for the New York office, and Becky's over here, right? For this office. Becky's telling her, we only got 200 documents. Okay, that's it. That's all. And Rhonda's like, no, girl, there's like thousands up in the New York office. There's thousands. You don't even know. So in my mind, when I read this, that they've conducted an exhaustive review of everything that they have on Epstein, then that's the second sentence here on this thing, right? How is that possible when Pam found out that there was more documents in the New York office on Epstein? Really? Y'all are done? So what that tells me is that they never really intended to, I mean, they saw what they saw and they picked and pulled what they needed to pull, and then they put this memo out there for people to digest it. What this tells me is that they never really intended to go after anybody with Epstein. Because I want you to, let's make even a most recent comparison to the Sean Diddy Combs case. Sean Diddy Combs, all right? It took them forever. They had 3,500 pieces of evidence and information to review, hearing after hearing. Diddy was arrested, what was it, in 2020? No, 2020. When did that come out? Lord have mercy. September 2024. He was arrested. The homes were raided in March of what? 2024. And it took them so long from those ratings to just from everything, from the house being raided and getting all that information, 3,500 pieces of information. You mean to tell me that this woman is sending a letter to Kash Patel to tell him, hey, Kash, February 25th, 27th of 2025. Hey, Kash, I don't have the other files from the New York City office. We don't have them. This tells me that this is bullshit, that they never really intended to move forward with any of this. It took them a long time to do it with Diddy. This tells me that they never intended to investigate or to prosecute anybody. That letter in February of 27 to 2025, the one that I just showed you guys, it says everything. They didn't know. So here we go. February. Now we're in July. And they're like, hey, guess what, guys? We reviewed everything, and it looks like it was an exhaustive review. Everything related to Epstein. To ensure the review was thorough, the FBI conducted digital searches of its databases, hard drives, networks, physical evidence searches. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including 300 gigabytes of data. Okay. The files related to Epstein include a large volume of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors. Okay. 10,000 downloaded videos, images of illegal child stuff, okay, material, teams of agents, analysts. Look at this. From the time that they realized they didn't have the files from the New York City office, they literally said here, teams of agents and analysts, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberties experts combed through the digital and documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public. This is bullshit. There's no way. Timeline, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense whatsoever. Doesn't make sense. And if that's what they did, I want to see a report from the team of agents, the analysts, the privacy and the civil liberties experts. We don't have reports of that. We don't have reports of what they saw, what they didn't do, what they did see, what they reviewed, what exhibit numbers were reviewed. We don't have any of this. I'm not believing that they even looked at this stuff, guys. There's no way. There's no way. Look at the number, the sheer volume. For this woman to write a letter to Kash Patel and say, hey, Cash, did you know? I didn't know about the New York City office. Rhonda didn't tell me what was going on. That doesn't make sense. Let's keep going, okay? Much of the material, look at this, is subject to court order sealing. Only a fraction of the material would have been aired publicly. So we can't have access to court order sealing, right? Okay. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit, look at this, the disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of child, which is nothing what anybody asked. Look at this. This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. It's not saying that there's no client list. It's saying that there's no incriminating client list. Sounds like there is a client list. It's just not incriminating, right? There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of the actions. Well, his brother said that he had a conversation with him. And he basically said, listen, when the 2016 election was happening between Hillary and then Trump, that first term that he had, right? What happened? He said Epstein told him that if he were to release the information that he had on these individuals, some of these individuals wouldn't even be running for presidency. There'd be a lot of individuals who'd be in trouble, right? That's right, you. Y'all are really entertaining the names, huh? Becky is over here. Rhonda's in the New York City office. Said, you got yourself into this, Rhonda, probably. All right. Just giving you guys, this is playing out in my head. Okay. There's a Becky and there's a Rhonda. You don't know why Rhonda came into my mind, or Becky for that matter. Okay. It further says, we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. But see, the deal that Epstein made, the one that we read yesterday in yesterday's live that YouTube tried to censor. By the way, I appealed it because this is what happens. YouTube tried to censor that. And it named a bunch of people as potential co-conspirators. And some of those people, actually, a lot of those people that were named in that 2007 document were women, models specifically. And it makes you wonder the connection to various pageants. Miss Universe, Miss USA, Miss all these, crowns. There's a correlation between the modeling industry and the pageant world, right? Like, let's not pretend that we just woke up today, okay? Like, we know this, okay? So, consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirms that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. Each suffered unique trauma. Sensitive information related to these victims is intertwined throughout the material, as it would be. This includes specific details such as victims' names. We're not asking for any of that. One of our highest priorities is combating child exploitation, which I think is bullshit. This can't be your high priority when you're protecting the people that committed that. Ghislaine is not the only one that committed this crime with Epstein. There was a bunch of unindicted co-conspirators, some of which were women. But I highly doubt that those were the only ones if you're talking about 1,000 victims. 1,000 victims. And what made Epstein so separate from a lot of these serial people is that he had access to money, resources, places, and time to do it. Because even when he was under the supervision of the state serving time, whatever that was, it was bullshit. He was able to intimidate those federal investigators that were going after him. He was able to hire private investigators to go after him, or to investigate those FBI agents, go through people's trash, go through the victims' information. He had enough power to do that and enough influence. But he didn't do this crime alone. There's no way he did this alone. No way. So this country they cannot say that they're battling and that's their priority against child exploitation when you're sitting on documents that clearly highlights that. And these are crimes of our generations. I'm not talking about JFK. I'm not talking about, Martin Luther, anything like that. They're releasing this 50 or 30 years after half of these people are dead and can't be prosecuted. And some of these people can no longer speak up for themselves. How can you say you're combating child exploitation when you're hiding this information? This is bullshit. It's bullshit. Sylvia, thank you so much for the 1999. Off to work, but Rabbit, I know YT's trying to quiet your lives, but keep fighting. Time to get a chimichanga for lunch. You deserve it. Both sides don't work for us. Only wheat fight for us. You know what? That sounds delicious. A chimichanga for later. Thank you so much for the 1999. Thank you, Sylvia. That's right. I want the AG to say the same thing she said in the DC, coffee shops, but then turn around and say no comment. Then a week later, say the comments she said in the coffee shop. There you go. Have a good one, Sylvia. Have a good day at work. You said I was thinking that Chumps was cleaning the house first. EP dies, then Diddy raids for all his videos from the house, then firing Comey. That sounds like a cleanup job. Mission completed, but Elon knows. Well, Miss James, don't forget that Elon was also in this mess. Elon was trying not to get subpoenaed. That's what he was trying not to do. We talked a little bit about this back in 2019 or regarding his dealings with the bank and then Epstein too. Elon is in this mess too. His whole little spiel about America's first, or what's the new political party that he's trying to start? And he could very well start a new political party, with the Twitter people that he has and the following that he has. He can do that. But to me, he is such a bad actor in this. He is no different. I think that he's just as bad. He is. These people are so bad. I don't even know what to say. But hey, and like I said, I don't blame, this isn't about why'd you vote for this person? Because it's not even about that. You guys have to, that's your business. But when we find ourselves in a situation in a crosshairs, whether it was Biden, whether Clinton, whoever the hell was in office, Bush, now Trump, all of these people need to be held accountable for the things that they say and they do. They work for us, we the people, not for themselves, right? So this is bullshit. When they say they're combating child exploitation, they can't, because they don't want to bring those that they could convict to a courtroom in this generation, in this decade, in this year. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Okay? Perpetuating unfounded theories, which is what this, if they're saying that this thing was a hoax, who perpetuated those unfounded theories? Who did that? Because I don't remember that being I just want to know. Notoriously, I mean, it is what it is. They have been known to, hold up. Why is it sharing my whole screen? Let me stop. All right. Oh, that's a change. Okay. Sorry, I just need to make sure. Let me remove this. Who perpetuated? Let's view the channel real quick. Let me show you guys something. This didn't age very well for Sir over here. I posted this on my community wall. Let me show you guys something. And I actually got this screenshot out of Cinema Shogun. Cinema Shogun actually shared this, okay? JD Vance, remember when we learned, this is back in 2021, by the way. This didn't age very well, my friends. Remember when we learned that our wealthiest and most powerful people were connected to a guy who ran a literal child ST ring. And then the guy died mysteriously in jail. And now we just don't talk about it. Well, isn't this the issue? Isn't this the issue trying to silence? And JD Vance, what do you have to say about that, my friend? Because this literally did not isn't age very well for Mr. Vance there. Now I need to understand. Let me see. Why is it doing that? Share screen. So if we go back to the memo, now if I navigate to a different screen, is it going to do that? It might have been the way I shared this. Okay. Perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends or either of those ends. To that end, we will have labored to provide the public with maximum information, which has been nothing and zero, okay, regarding Epstein, and ensure the examination of any evidence in the government's possession. It is the determination of the Department of Justice and the FBI that no further disclosures be appropriate or warranted. That's it. They said they did a thorough investigation with the FBI. Look at this. Here you go. After a thorough investigation, the FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed F's in his cell at the MCC in New York. Okay. So we know this part, all right? The conclusion that Epstein died by S is further supported by footage. They showed us a really crappy footage, and that's it. But they don't talk about any other files. They don't talk about this letter right here that I just showed you, that I think is an important letter because it's very telling about how they've handled this situation. Is this it? Yes. Nope, not this one. Sorry, I just clicked it again. Here we go. This is the letter. That's the FBI memo. Oh, it's this window. Here it is. There's no way that they dedicated a thorough investigation when Pam was asking for information on February 27th of 2025. That's the point of this. There's no way that they got done and then in July they said, okay, now was it July or June? When was that FBI thing? Let me see if I can pull up it was July. July. There's no way February, March, April, May, June, July. There's no way that they would have done all of this with so much information in files, with the amount of information they said on the FBI letter that they had. And now here, my friends, it's telling you that Pam did not receive information, and neither did Cash, from the FBI field office. They were in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to this. There is no way. There's no way. You can't. I just don't believe it. And then she was telling them that I'm directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into my order to the FBI not followed. Why wasn't it followed? There's just no way. Now, I want to be careful because, you know, a lot of people were sending me different things and whatnot. Okay. But it wouldn't make sense for me. Like, there's a video that has surfaced. Now, this has been an accuser of Trump. And I was wondering why. Give me one sec, y'all. This accuser specifically. Have you guys seen this video? Put a 1 in the chat if you have seen. This is Katie Johnson. Katie Johnson was 13 years old. It's hard to watch, but she described being hard and losing her V to Trump while crying and begging him to stop after he was mad that she was crying. You've seen that before? I had never seen this before. So this is like trending again. I've never seen this before. You dropped a 2. I thought this was interesting. You watched that? He said, Abraham's defending Rhonda. There's no way Rhonda was on vacation that week and she has the files, LOL. It was reposted on TT. Never seen it. So this is an accuser. She was a teen. Okay. I'm only going to play a little bit of it just because of the content. But this is Katie Johnson. She was 13. It's a hard watch. And I have to kind of be mindful of the language. Just watch a little bit. Hold up. Maybe I could even find a clip of it. Here, maybe this is 1 minute.
Second time that I saw Mr. Trump was same scenario. He was onlooking at an orgy. And Tiffany came over to me and said that Donald Trump had requested that I perform oral sex on him. He came in and I was basically tied to a bed with pantyhose. And he tied him and they were so tight it hurt to even like lay there, and I tried to say something. I was like, and he just, shut up, shut up, bitch. This is basically like he was being really, really rough, and I started to get scared, and he was, basically like ripping my clothes off, and I was actually I got freaked out. I just turned into this animal. It was like a completely different person. I couldn't do anything about it.
You guys hear it, right? I just want to make sure because I know they're using the voice changer thing. So gross. She said Trump liked her because he reminded her. It's a little crazy. You've never heard of this one? Yeah, Nola. This one was, I'll tell you who it was. There's a timeline. Her name is Katie Johnson. This is a 94. Okay, so this lawsuit, you might have heard of the lawsuit though, Nola. So let me tell you what it is. And again, these are all allegations that have been, these are historic allegations, right? Lawsuit filed in June of 2016, refiled in October 2016, as reported by BuzzFeed and others. Then dropped November 2016. Jane Doe is an unnamed plaintiff who also has gone by Katie Johnson in legal papers. She claims that she was repeatedly arred by Trump and J.E. in Epstein's New York City apartment in 1994. And when she was 13 years old, a witness, also given a pseudonym, Tiffany Doe, said that she recruited Jane Doe and others. Now, if you remember, this little recruitment thing was a thing, right? I also have a video of another Jane Doe. The patterns of the recruitment are very similar, which I think we have to kind of pay attention to. So she was recruited. She said she recruited Jane Doe and others. Doe, using the name Johnson, gave the interview to the Daily Mail in which she said she did not know who Trump was at the time of the alleged attack. She was 13. If this attack happened at that time, I wouldn't expect her to know who the hell is Trump, right? At the alleged attack, but identified him later when she saw him on television. It is not known why she withdrew the lawsuit. That's the question. Why did she withdraw the lawsuit? She has not spoken out publicly and withdrew her allegations since then. Now, this thing is like a whole, this is PBS News. So depending on where you land with PBS News, take it for what it's worth. But there have been at least 16 documented people, women specifically, that have made allegations. And you guys review it. Y'all, I'm not here to tell you whether they're what anything. These are their allegations. And like everybody else who has a civil or a criminal case, they have every right to, to their due process and all that other stuff. Okay. But this right here, Nola, this is, if you want to search it, her name is Katie Johnson, and you can find it on Twitter. You can find the 29-minute one on Twitter too.
He ripped off all my clothes, and he started to basically have sex with me, and I was screaming because I've never had sex before. It was my first time.
So that is her statement. Okay. That was her statement. I mean, that is her statement. And I do wonder, I have a lot of questions. Is she feared? Is that why maybe she dropped the lawsuit? What happened? Like I said, if this guy Epstein was so willing to intimidate federal agents by hiring, private investigators to investigate them. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anybody at this point to do some nefarious ish. As a Trump supporter, I'd have issues with him, but we all know all cases can be filed. That's true. And this is why I'm telling you guys, this is why it's important to keep an open thought in mind. A lot of people can file cases, and we've seen this happen more than once. You have to be very mindful. One of the questions that we were having in thoughts and conversations during our vertical live is I asked you guys the question, what's the difference between the Me Too movement and Believe All Women? Are they the same or are they separate? Some of you guys said I have a problem with the statement of Believe All Women because you have to accept the fact that some people do lie or do omit or do too much, because anybody can file a lawsuit. Somebody could file a lawsuit against me and say that I did something that I didn't do. And I can find myself in a situation like that, right? Like, that is so very important. Okay. I also believe that when there's smoke, there's fire. And I believe that people deserve to face their accusers, and they deserve to defend themselves as well. But you said anybody can file lawsuits. Cases can be filed with no proof or proof, like the Tootsie Roll lawsuit. If he was convicted, I'd be holding him to it. Gotcha. There's that. Give me one sec, guys. I got to set this up. Sorry about that. You said she filed the lawsuit twice and then withdrew it twice in the same year, threatened allegedly. That's what was said. I mean, that should call for something. Ooh, hold up. What do we have here? Do we have a presser? Hold up. What do we have? White House hold brief pressing on breaking news. I guess I was about to navigate somewhere else. Hold up. I think we have a presser, y'all. Give me 1 second. They're about to update us on the Epstein file scandal divides the GOP. I think they're going to update us on this. Hold up. Let me make sure you guys want to watch it? Put a one in the chat. Let me know if you want to watch it. Put a one in the chat. I think they're having a press conference right now. This presser secretary is basically the cheerleader. Well, are they going to answer questions, Donna Smith? Should we watch it? Okay. Let me put it in the title just in case. Epstein files presser. Put a little question mark in there because I don't want people coming at me. You're giving misinformation. So I just want to make sure I got to be careful. Okay. I think this is a presser. Y'all hear me? There's no sound yet. We're waiting, guys. We're waiting. Oh, let's see. Oh. Can y'all hear it? Let me know, because I don't hear it. Maybe it's my sound. Put it one in the chat if you're hearing it. You guys can hear it? I don't hear it. It's low. I don't hear the lady. Here we go. They're talking over her. It's her mic. It hasn't started yet. All right. Right on time, guys. Right on time. It hasn't started yet. That lady is just giving an intro. We're going to wait a little bit. That's not Caroline. No, it's not. That's just media, guys. That I do agree. It's not. Well, they're saying that they're going to update. Look at this. White House press briefing amid MAGA calls to release Epstein files. So let's see. Let's see if they address it. Yeah, that's not her. She looks like her, but that's not her. That's the Sky News title, not the White House. All right, hold up. Let me show you. There's other titles. Other people are saying, here's Forbes. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. I could be wrong. Holds a White House press briefing as Epstein's files scandal divides the GOP basis. That's a good. Let me ask ChatGPT. They know everything. Hold up. We'll find out. Let's see if they talk about it. Sky News, Mirror Now. Are they going to talk about it? That's the question. We'll see. I mean, if they talk about it, good. I hope so. Okay, let's see. Is that her? It doesn't look like her. Or maybe it is her. I don't know. That's not her. She's with the it definitely looks like Caroline though. Are they going to talk about it? Or is this a regular presser? That's not her. It looks like her though. Thank you. So this may be addressed. We don't know if they're going to be addressing it. They look alike. They do, Truth Seeker. I'm looking at a picture. I'm like, that looks like her. Except the other lady likes to wear red. She wears a lot of red. Yeah, this is the daily it happens, but are they going to address it? They're saying they're going to address it. Lexi, we're just waiting to see if it's going to happen. I don't know if it is, but we'll see. It won't hurt if we check it. We're waiting. This better not be a nothing burger. Because this would be like the best way to do a clickbait title. Let me just say, if it doesn't happen. It won't be for another 20 more minutes, and we'll be waiting here then, I guess. Let's see. You said you want ketchup with that nothing burger. Actually, a chimichanga sounds just about right. Sounds right. They're just setting up. If this isn't, I'm gonna be upset if they don't talk about nothing. This would be interesting. If not, I have other videos. I have another video we got to go through. Prepare to be upset. No, I'm fine, Lexi. I mean, we're just waiting. It's okay. People are going to be waiting here. It's all good. I mean, that's fine. Maybe they're not going to talk about it. I don't know. People are saying that they are. There's other folks that are saying it too. Let's see. Well, they're saying that beautiful Miss Ball, they're saying that they're gonna, what's the word? Maybe address. Now it's the title. We don't know. This is the regular presser. But Forbes and Sky News are saying that White House hold in press briefing as Epstein files scandal divides the GOP. And then Sky News is saying the same. President Trump's press secretary to hold news conference, and they're thinking it's about this too. It might not be, but it's also on Sky News and it's the title. So it could very well be not the case. We'll see. Maybe it's not. We're waiting to see what's up. Are we going to see Becky? Oh my God. Fast forward? How do you want me to fast forward to something that's current? I can't fast forward. I don't know. And Lexi said that we have to wait a good 20 minutes. I guess we'll have to wait 20 minutes. Yes, we'll figure it out. Base reporting to address is going to be a discussion on MAGA dissent over the administration handling the Epstein files, per Google. Here we go. I said, how do you like your nothing burger, Rabbit? We'll tell you. How do you want it? How do you need it? Oh, Mama, be nice. She don't want me singing. How do you want it? How do you need it? We're waiting. Lord have mercy. How do you want your nothing burger? How do you need it? We're waiting. Lord, if this is a nothing burger, then damn, that's going to suck. Watch them discuss everything but this. You said not with applesauce? I don't want my burger with applesauce. This is gross. Oh, man. Oh, man. She don't like me singing. She gets mad when I start singing. She starts yelling at me. I know. They should play some music during these pressers. That should be like the rule. You know? Play some music. Don't let it be boring. No Diddy burger. You forgot it? Well, because you guys are saying, how do you want your burger? I said, how do you want it? How do you need it? I'm just making up words now at this point. I'm sure that's not how the song goes. You said, oh, are they going to talk about Maurene Comey's firing live? Oh, we're so here for it. We're so here for it. Now, did y'all hit the like button? No, not the Jeopardy music. That put me to sleep. But this is like a small room for all the press people. You know that? Such a small room. Let's see if they have it. No applesauce. Yeah, hold the applesauce. I don't want no applesauce in my burgers. Nope. Well, it's about, I mean, this is like mainstream media right there. They don't, do you see a YouTuber there? No. YouTubers haven't been invited to these pressers, but I bet they'd get very interesting if they were. Do you see? I don't see any YouTubers out there. Do y'all see any YouTubers? Nope. How about hiding the information of the victims but exposing the rest? That's the question, Mags. That's what we're hoping that they'll do, but I don't think they're going to release anything. You know, and I missed that part. Did they talk about the Epstein case yesterday? Because they have this presser like all the time at a certain time, you know? That's the question that I have. How do you want it? How do you need it? Let's see. Aw, M7 triple. Thank you. You said Rabbit mainstream media was 3 channels back in the day. Back in the day. That's why the room is so small. Well, now they're like butt to gut in those little church pews. Butt to gut. My gosh, Professor Kagan, thank you for telling the people. I will repeat, hit the like button, share, especially with this one, because I'm telling you, man, they don't like it. Don't like us talking about anything pertaining to these politicals. They don't. We're waiting. I think they're going to be going still. Watch, Lexi said it. They're probably not even going to talk about this, and we're going to be waiting here forever. I'm here for it. I got time. I got my coffee still. I'm still drinking my coffee. Let's see. Our burger may end up being a sandwich. Yeah, it's a standard one. It's always been that way. Yes, it's a standard one. It's always been that way. The admin has opened up 1 or 2 additional traditional seats that you can apply for on a rolling basis. Well, they're on a butt to gut. I said not butt to gut. It just looks so small in there. Hurry up and wait. Oh man, y'all. Anyways. Yeah. I can't hear the coverage. Can you guys hear the noise? Can you guys hear them talking? But I mean, the coverage is not on yet. But can y'all hear it? Because otherwise, I'm gonna have to go back and in and out. Do you guys hear anything? You do hear the reporter noise. Okay, I want to make sure. You said I'm gonna go make some coffee, Lexi. I owe you $5 if they're giving the list, right? Well, they're not gonna give the list, Lexi. I know that. But if they talk about it, then you owe me $5, girl. Then you owe me $5. But shout out, go make yourself some coffee because apparently we're gonna be waiting here. We're gonna be waiting, and then I have another video queued up that I wanted to show. You hear the chatter. As long as you guys hear the chatter, y'all go make yourself some coffees, please. Go do that. We got time. You hear the cackling and the cackling amongst the people there, amongst the hens. Wait, CBS News has the same title. Yadira, thank you. Somebody tip somebody. All right. I feel good about my title. All right. Now, if y'all come at me in the comments for fake news, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's put in here White House address Epstein file presser? Question mark. I hate that I'm only allowed like 14 words. Epstein. Hold up. Do. We're waiting, guys. Somebody say, where's James at? James, can you tell a joke in the chat, please, and thank you, while we wait for these people to get it together? Who's talking? Oh, Lord have mercy. They're staging still? Jamie's singing the song in the chat. Lord. I got that stuck on your guys' head. Sorry. Who low-key? Where's Lindell? Oh my God, Lindell, where are you, Lindell? Lindell, if you're in the bushes, we miss. Watch Lindell come out of nowhere. Missy's like, who low-key misses Lindell? I mean, we were hanging out for like 2 months. I forgot about Lindell. Yo. Y'all remember Lindell? I know Lindell's like, I'm out. Nope on Trump. Moni, you remember Lindell. Where's Lindell? Oh, man. No, shout out to Lindell. I like Lindell. I don't think it was a paid agitator. I thought about that for a minute. Now, like, I don't think so. I think Lindell was pretty cool. You said Lindell was a Diddy fan? You said he was a paid agitator or the feds? We want Lindell. I thought Lindell was cool up until, every once in a while he'd be saying some ish and it's like, Lindell, the chat is eating you up. He didn't care. He was pretty cool and funny. I thought he was hilarious. See, some stuff was just like when he said about how Cassie planned to give birth during the trial. I said, I am so out. You are so done. I know I went off on Lindell for that one because that one did get to me. I said, how do you plan to go to birth during the trial? Oh my God. Okay. I don't think he was paid. I like Lindell. But yeah, we're waiting, y'all. They're staging. Now, Lexi said that if they do talk about Epstein, it's going to be $5 for me. She said. I know, Lindell drinking game. Take a shot. Looks like we have a problem. We have a problem. And then he would write, ha, 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 ha. I'd be like, oh my God, yo. This is why people get mad at you, Lindell. It's not funny? Okay, honey, I'm sorry. She said it's not funny. She just told me to be quiet and stop laughing. It's not funny. You said, let's see. I can see him being hard on the mods, though. I thought Lindell was cool. Anyways. He did suggest he had insider info. Maybe he was a paid agitator. I never talked to him personally. I really tried to get to know him while we were live. Like, where are you from, Lindell? Tell us a little bit about what are you drinking on? He just wouldn't break character. He wouldn't No, she's not. She's not. She's really not having my ish today. Are they going to talk about? People are saying that they're going to talk about it. Listen, they're going to talk about what's going on with everything. Mm-hmm.
So Jay, the CNN here, is going to shoot. I can shoot there.
Let's see. We're waiting, guys. We're waiting. I'm sure Lexi's coffee is done now. Yeah. Let's see. Yes, you are. Lexi's like, yep, my coffee's done. We're waiting, Lexi. You right. They started late, like 20 minutes later. We're waiting, y'all. Let's see. She's going to talk about how Coca-Cola is now going to be made with sugar cane. Oh, yeah, that whole situation. And maybe no more plastic straws. And maybe we will get the water pressure back of the drip, drip. You guys, all right, there's a press conference right there. Paige just said it all. Shout out to Paige. Shout out to Paige. Oh, there you go. Maybe sources are saying that they're going to cover it. We'll see. Maybe we should do a vote because it's multiple sources that are saying that. Let's see. Will they cover the EP files? Or are they going to ignore it? You know, somebody in the media is going to ask. You know, somebody in the media, they're going to ask about Comey and they're going to ask about Epstein. They're going to. They're going to. I didn't even know what's the big deal about Coca-Cola. So now it's made different. I don't even be drinking Coca-Cola. My goodness. You know, is it going to get addressed? That's the question. They're going to ask. That's right. They can ask. Doesn't mean we'll hear anything. That's true. You're a Pepsi drinker? Oh my God. This is going to be a mess. They're going to talk about all the great things that they're doing. I'm telling you, man, I don't know. I don't think they're going to address it, but maybe they are. You never know. People are saying that they're going to. Multiple sources are saying that. We're waiting.
I mean, I saw you. That's all that matters. Yeah. I stepped on like a sore thumb.
Your Pepsi all the way, keeping my chemicals. You said American Coke as poured fruit toast thinks it's made a real sugar cane everywhere else for real Coke. How about just don't drink Coke because it's bad for you? I don't think it's good for you. You know? Now, Mexican Coca-Cola is a whole different story. Mexican Coca-Cola is a whole different story, my friends. But see, I don't think people are going to get no Mexican Coca-Cola anytime soon. Fanta. Hold on. Let me get something, guys, while we wait. You said Mexican Coca-Cola is more sweeter. It's something else. More addicting, too. Back in the day, you used to buy it by the glass bottle. And so the people, the vendors, they would put it inside of a sandwich bag, and then they tie a straw to your Coca-Cola. That was back in the day, man. I used to go, we'd go to like the little vendors outside, and then have glasses of Coke bottles. And then they like Mexican Coca-Cola, and then they serve it. But they'll get like a little sandwich bag, and they'll serve you the soda inside that sandwich bag, and then they'll tie the straw to it, and that's how you drink. Because they would keep the bottle, because they would get like money from the bottle. They get a return from that. So yeah, it's a different kind of. It was different back then. Back then it was kind of like you liked drinking Coca-Cola. Whatever was in it, we were there. Yeah, now it's expensive. 3 liters is 43 pesos. Really? Yeah. Yeah, we would drink Coca-Cola out of a sandwich bag. Let me see if I can find a picture. This was like multiple times. With the little, with the straw. That's how we would do it. It was bomb. I mean, that's how we would drink it. You kind of like, yeah, here it is. See if I can show you guys a picture real quick. Like this guy right here. This is they got like little sandwich bags. That's how you drink it. They just tie the straw there, and you just drink it like that. That's the thing. But yeah, that's expensive though. Now the Coke is. All right, let me go back to the presser. Now the poll is split. I haven't even looked at the poll. Well, we're waiting, guys. We waiting. Let me close some of these tabs that I have. Don't save. Okay. Let me see. Let me see what everybody in the world is saying. Okay. All right. And how long is the presser usually? Was it about an hour? Yeah, like a caprese would be a good way to put it, like a caprese. 49% said yes, and 52% said no. Oh, I'm so old. We used to collect the Coke bottles in the red wagons and turn them for deposits. Oh man, we could make big bucks in our eyes for a long Saturday. That sounds like fun. Back in the day, we used to collect cans. And then you'd take it to the recycling place. That's what we would do. Long enough to bamboozle the public. We waiting, yo. I'm waiting for the reporter. Who's the reporter that's going to get yelled at today about asking for the Epstein stuff? Stir my coffee. You said the reporter will ask, but nothing will be answered. How do you guys like the leadership board, huh? This leadership board is funny. Probably a CNN reporter. Well, last time it was a Fox reporter. So, and then Fox has been throwing a lot of shade at Trump, and he's not very happy about that because Fox was so for Trump. The sudden shade. The sudden shade. We waiting, y'all. Backroom arguments happening now. We could hear it. You need another coffee? Because I'm tired. Damn it. When they gonna get started, Lexi? And then it's gonna be so long. Let's go. Why do they take so long? I need a nap. I'm about to take one while I'm here. We're waiting for them to start. It's buffering on your side. Sylvia S., thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you, Sylvia S. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I paused for a minute. I did. I was. I'm fine. I see myself. Everybody's good. No, don't say that, Lexi. It would be now. It would be in time between now and 30 more minutes. They rarely on time. I can't do that, y'all. I can't. I am too precise on time. I'd be like, get your ish together. Let's go. Okay, it was a short buff. Shout out to the 500 people that we have here. Can you guys do me a favor? Hit the like button. Okay? It is free. It is free to hit the like button or support the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maybe they're arguing in the back. Maybe they are, right? They're like, you go and talk. No, man, I'm not trying to get beat up with the press. You go and talk first. Okay, good. You guys see me. All right. It just started. We're waiting for it, Gemini. I'm checking the other channel. Everybody's waiting for it. They got their cameras going. I would be so annoyed if I had a camera and I'm in this presser because I'd be like, my battery's about to die and these people aren't coming out yet. I ain't got time for this. They need to hurry up. That's right. Don't be a hater. It's bad for your health. Hit the like button. Thank you. We should be having a lot of likes here. Y'all. Let's see. Okay, good. Can we get to like 450 likes, please? And thank you. You said I shared and said, watch me lose $5. Had a guest arrive and thought I'd missed the conference. Miranda, we don't even know if it's going to happen. I'll be honest with you. Like, we're waiting. We think it's going to happen. We just don't know. I could very well be like wrong. But they say that it's going to happen. A lot of people are saying they're going to address it. I think it needs to be bigger than this. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. It's getting quiet. It's getting quiet in the room. Abby, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you. We need 55 more likes. Marta, tell them. We need 55 more likes. There's got to be at least 55 people that have not hit the like button. Please do so. We're waiting. Thank you. See, they're quiet. They're getting quiet. They're getting quiet. Does that mean that somebody's coming through? Oh, somebody just yawned. Oh, no. I heard somebody say, oh. No. Somebody yawned in the church pews. No. I heard them. Oh, maybe they fell asleep. I heard it. I heard them yawn. This is crazy, man. We'll find out. Yeah, I feel like I thought because it was getting quiet, and I'm like, oh, maybe they got like something going on. Let me see something. What time does the White House press briefing start? Why are they so late? 2 p.m. It can't be 2 p.m. 11, 12. Oh, so they got a good 20, 15 minutes before they start, guys. It says they start at 2 today. Here it is. So I have okay, yes, you could, okay. And the spokesperson is going to be Tammy Bruce in the briefing room. I'm looking at the website, y'all. They rarely start on time. They said they're going to start at 2 Eastern. What are the agenda topics? So I'm looking at the schedule. We still got time, y'all. Let me pull up another video because there's another video that I wanted to pull up that was on my queue while we wait. Here's a video that's been like, can we watch another video while we wait, or y'all want to wait like this? If you want to watch another video while we wait, and I'll keep my eye on the Sarah Ranson. Sarah Ranson was one of the Epstein survivors. This is it. This is her. This interview is 3 years old. You said, or y'all want to wait? You said you want to wait? It's gotten quiet though. See, it kind of worries me when they get quiet. Does that mean they're going to get started, or they still have a couple minutes? Okay, so I'm gonna keep an eye on the presser while we watch another video. This is her name is Sarah Ranson. Have you guys seen this video? Let me know. Hold up, because I hear the noise. All right, let me put this on mute. I'm gonna keep that on mute, and I'm gonna see while we wait. Have you guys heard of this one? They're crashing on sugar. Yes, they are. Hold up.
That moment that they called your name, you had to get up and finally look Ghislaine in the eye.
It's something that I have worked very, very, very hard for the last 6 years. So that, I think my statement was about 4 or 5 minutes, was the fight that I have done, the highs, the lows, the litigation. It was all worth it just to have those 3 minutes looking at Ghislaine, saying what I needed to say to her.
Wow.
Did you hope that maybe she would?
Mercy Miami, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. If you guys have been blessed by Mercy Miami, put some hearts in the chat, y'all. Please and thank you. Thank you, Mercy Miami. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit because just for the sake of time. So if you hear her talk real fast, it's because it's sped up.
Somehow, I don't know, respond, react, anything?
I was hoping that as a human being, she would have felt something. She would have at least acknowledged or looked, or but there was none of that. And that doesn't matter for me. The thing for me, the memory I'll take away from today that I will never forget until the rest of my, well, for the rest of my life, was hearing Ghislaine walk into court with the chains.
Wow.
And that was a very somber but liberating moment for me, because there's no more games. I just heard the clinking, clink, clink, clink of chains.
Yeah, that's real.
That's real. That's reality. And, you know, that's, I'm disappointed. I don't feel that Ghislaine took accountability and responsibility really for the victims. I think that was her addressing the victims was a bit of a sham, saying, I'm sorry. I have a particular issue
we
with
started.
saying,
Give me 1 second, guys.
I'm sorry, because
travel to Scotland, where he will visit both Turnberry and Aberdeen from July 25th to July 29th. During the visit, President Trump will meet again with Prime Minister Starmer to refine the great trade deal that was brokered between the United States and the United Kingdom. And the President and the First Lady will travel to the United Kingdom for an official state visit from September 17th
Uh-oh, give me one sec, guys.
During the visit, President Trump will meet again with Prime Minister Starmer to refine the great trade deal that was brokered between the United States and the United Kingdom. And the President and the First Lady will travel to the United Kingdom for an official state visit from September 17th to September 19th later this fall. This will mark a truly unprecedented second state visit for President Trump, and he is honored and looking forward to meeting with His Majesty the King at Windsor Castle. There has been a wave of positive economic news over the past week, which I would like to highlight today. Joe Biden's inflation crisis has been defeated. Prices paid to American businesses for goods and services were flat in June, which is lower than all 50 forecasters in the Bloomberg survey predicted. And core inflation, which is the best measure of inflation, came in lower than expected again in the month of June. Since President Trump took office, core inflation has tracked at just 2.1% overall and has come in below or at economists' expectations every single month. Wages are growing at a strong pace and prices are falling for everyday Americans. We also saw prices for new and used vehicles and airfares drop last month. In addition, prices for gas, fuel oil, energy commodities, hotels, airfare, public transportation, and fresh vegetables are all down over last year. As we said all along, trust in President Trump. The American dream is back, and everyday families are already reaping the benefits of this incredible economic turnaround in just 6 months. President Trump has ended the era of economic surrender and implemented powerful tariffs to stand up for our workers and businesses
They're not going
and
to address
rebalance
it.
America's trading agreements.
I don't think
Despite
so.
all of the doom casting from the so-called experts claiming that these tariffs would be the end of the world as we know it, the opposite has occurred. Tariffs are not inflationary, as President Trump has said all along. In reality, tariffs are a source of massive revenue. We're seeing trillions of dollars in private investment pour into our country right now because the companies around this world want to make their products right here with American labor and not have to pay any tariffs at all. Customs and tariff revenue has already totaled more than $113 billion since President Trump entered office, helping to lead a budget surplus in June for the first time in nearly a decade. We are truly entering a golden age as a result of these pro-growth and America First trade policies. On another matter, yesterday in the East Room, the president was proud to sign the Halt All Lethal Trafficking of Fentanyl Act into law, surrounded by angel families to help finally end the devastating fentanyl crisis that has ravaged millions of Americans. Under the Halt Fentanyl Act, anyone who possesses, imports, distributes, or manufactures any illicit fentanyl-related substances will be subject to criminal prosecution in the same manner as any other Schedule I controlled substance. This legislation will close the loopholes that criminals use to skirt around the law and make it easier for law enforcement to prosecute vicious traffickers who peddle poison in our communities. President Trump has always made tackling the drug crisis a top priority, and this important bipartisan legislation further follows through on that commitment. The complete and total success at our southern border that many in the media in this room continue to ignore is another example of the president keeping his word to families who have lost loved ones due to fentanyl, and it's another win for the American people. Customs and Border Protection just released the final operationalized stats for the month of June, and I must highlight some of these incredible numbers. There were only 6,072 Southwest apprehensions in June, 15% lower than the previous record that this president set in the month of March. To put that in perspective, the Biden administration routinely saw the same number of encounters in a single day. And on many days, that number was more than 10,000 apprehensions at the Southwest border. There were also 0 illegal aliens released along the Southwest border for the second consecutive month in a row. President Trump promised to end the illegal alien invasion, and he has delivered on that promise to the American people in record time. With the border sealed, deportations are ramping up. This past weekend, our brave ICE agents were arresting violent criminal illegal aliens all across the country. ICE Atlanta arrested an illegal alien from Mexico, convicted of attempted rape of a child in North Carolina. ICE Baltimore arrested an illegal alien from Guatemala who was previously convicted for sexual abuse of a minor in Maryland. ICE Houston arrested a criminal illegal alien from Mexico whose previous conviction includes aggravated sexual assault of a child in Texas. ICE Salt Lake City arrested a 32-year-old illegal criminal alien from Mexico who was previously convicted for child abuse and injury. ICE Baltimore arrested a criminal illegal alien from El Salvador convicted in Maryland for possession of child pornography. And ICE San Antonio arrested a criminal illegal alien from Mexico convicted of aggravated sexual assault in Texas. The men and women of ICE are heroes. They are putting their lives on the line every day to get the worst of the worst, these types of criminals, out of our communities and out of our country. And the president continues to strongly have the backs of all ICE agents who are doing their jobs to keep all of us, including everyone in this room, safe. The facility, sorry, 1 second. In other news, following President Trump's bold executive actions protecting American children from irreversible chemical and surgical mutilation, the largest provider of these barbaric practices will now be closing its doors. The facility in Los Angeles, California, is just the latest facility downsizing or eliminating their irreversible and harmful services that feed into the lie that you can somehow change a child's sex. The Biden administration peddled dangerous policies that defied medical science in favor of radical transgender ideology. But President Trump has put an end to that to ensure America's children's innocence is protected and our children can lead healthy and productive lives. Finally, last night, Senate Republicans passed President Trump's $9 billion rescissions package. This will help restore fiscal sanity in our country by rescinding billions in wasteful foreign aid and finally ending taxpayer funding for PBS and NPR, two media organizations that have ridiculously used federal dollars to push a partisan left-wing agenda for many years. The House should pass this rescissions package immediately and send it to the president's desk for signature. On another note, I know that many in the media have been speculating about bruising on the president's hand and also swelling in the president's legs. So in the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today. In recent weeks, President Trump noted mild swelling in his lower legs. In keeping with routine medical care and out of an abundance of caution, this concern was thoroughly evaluated by the White House medical unit. The president underwent a comprehensive examination, including diagnostic vascular studies. Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. Laboratory testing included a complete blood count, comprehensive metabolic panel, coagulation profile, D-dimer, B-type natriuretic peptide, and cardiac biomarkers. All results were within normal limits. An echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified. Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy. And the president remains in excellent health, which I think all of you witness on a daily basis here. So the president wanted me to share that note with all of you. I'm happy to take further questions on it. We will provide the memorandum from the president's physician to all of you, as we always do. And we'll get to questions. Here in our new media seat, we have Frank Corva, who's the White House correspondent for Bitcoin Magazine, which comes at a timely week with crypto legislation moving across Capitol Hill. So why don't you kick us off, Frank, and thanks for being with us.
Oh my God.
Sure.
I was curious to hear if the president was in favor of removing any and all language around central bank digital currencies from the Genius Act, maybe as a means to get it across the line and get it on his desk. And then my second question was about something the president spoke about in this room. He talked about a $600 de minimis tax exemption for Bitcoin and other crypto spending. So I was just wondering if you could comment on those.
Sure. Well, the president did signal his support for a de minimis exemption for crypto, and the administration continues to be in support of that. We are definitely receptive to it to make crypto payments easier and more efficient for those who seek to use crypto as simple as buying a cup of coffee. Of course, right now that cannot happen, but with the de minimis exemption, perhaps it could in the future, and we will continue to explore legislative solutions to accomplish that. As for the central bank digital currency and the Genius Act, which you noted has passed through Congress and will be sent to the president's desk. I believe the House is voting on it. If they haven't, they should be passing it. We know we have the votes, and we expect it to get to the president's desk, and we are planning a signing ceremony tomorrow afternoon. All of you will get more details on that. This piece of legislation is going to make America the crypto capital of the world, and that's what the president promised. As for a central bank digital currency, the president opposes that. He made that promise to the American people on the campaign, and while it's not in this specific piece of legislation, he did sign a January executive order banning a central bank digital currency. The administration
She's buffing. It's buffing. Chris Frank said he feels bad for Becky and Rhonda right now. I do too. What happened? Where'd she go? Hold up. Let's see. We cannot.
Supports Congress's efforts to codify that executive order into law. And I believe there will be future pieces of legislation in regards to crypto that will be moving through Capitol Hill. The president looks forward to signing them, and he looks forward to the signing ceremony this afternoon. So thank you for being with us today. Sure. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. There's been a lot of discussion about the Epstein files and the president's comments yesterday calling it a hoax. Can you clarify which part of the Epstein hoax is the hoax part?
Clarify.
The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an asinine suggestion for any Democrat to make. The Democrats had control of this building, the White House, for 4 years, and they didn't do a dang thing when it came to transparency in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and his heinous crimes. It was this president who directed the Department of Justice and the Attorney General to do an exhaustive review of all files related to Jeffrey Epstein, which they did. The Attorney General and the FBI, led by Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, these are great patriots, some of the most trusted voices in the Republican Party movement. It's part of the reason the president appointed them to these high law enforcement positions. And they spent many months going through all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein, and they concluded what they found in that memo, which they drafted and they released. And so the president has been transparent. He has followed through on his promises to the American people, but he doesn't like to see Democrats and the mainstream media covering this like it's the biggest story that the American people care about. The president has been working so hard this week. On Tuesday, he went to Pennsylvania, where he secured $90 billion in investments for the Commonwealth, for the people of that state. After that, he came back to the Oval Office at 8 p.m. He went in there to whip votes to get the Genius Act signed into law. And because of his efforts, that bill is now going to be signed and passed. The following day, yesterday, he meets with a foreign leader, the King of Bahrain, to secure more investments into this country. And then yesterday afternoon, the president is in the East Room of the White House mourning with parents who have lost their children because of fentanyl, signing a bipartisan piece of legislation. And not a single cable network in this country took that event live and covered that event like they should. Those are the issues the president cares about. What could be more important to the American people than helping families who have lost their children? Those are the issues this president is going to remain focused on.
I understand he wants to move on from the story, but you do have some prominent figures, including the Senate Majority Leader, the House Speaker, voicing support for the files to come out.
Another question.
Collecting signatures that would force a discharge petition for a vote on the floor for this. It doesn't seem to be going away. What is stopping the administration from just redacting any
going away
sensitive information, grand jury information, and putting out what is appropriate so that the American people can decide and then let this story die?
Well, in terms of redactions or grand jury seals, those are questions for the Department of Justice. Those are also questions for the judges who have that information under a seal. And that would have to be requested and a judge would have to approve it. That's out of the president's control. He has said in agreement with some of the leaders on Capitol Hill that if the Attorney General and the Department of Justice come across any other credible evidence, they should provide that to the American people. The president has said that, and he agrees with them on that.
Why did you fire Maurene Comey?
The Department of
Another
Justice
one.
did, and I would defer you to them. Dasha.
Has the White House been directly in touch with some of the MAGA influencers that are still not satisfied with the administration's handling? And has the message to them been similar to what the president has said, which is sort of either let this go or we don't need your support?
Well, look, the president and this team are always in contact with the president's supporters, with voices of many kinds on both sides of the aisle. I think that's part of the reason this president is a great president, because he's willing to listen and hear other people's perspectives. But ultimately, he has led this country, not just over the past 6 months to historic success, but also through his first 4 years as president. And as the leader and the creator of the MAGA movement, he has led through these perilous times for our country based on instinct and in the best interest of the country. And as I always say, the American people should trust in President Trump.
John,
go ahead, John.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. The president on Monday announced that if there's not compliance with Russia within 50 days, there would be increased tariffs. Can you explain how that works? First of all, what happens if
Someone's
Russia
gonna
doesn't
ask it again,
end its
watch.
war with Ukraine in 50 days?
Well, in 50 days, as the president clearly laid out, if there is not a ceasefire agreement or a peace deal within that time frame, if Russia refuses to legitimately agree to a ceasefire, then they will face very steep tariffs, and they will also face secondary sanctions. So countries that are purchasing oil from Russia will be sanctioned as well, and of course that will do deep damage to Russia's economy. And I would just add that the president wants this war to end with a diplomatic solution. He's been pushing for it. This administration has spent many hours and a lot of time trying to solve this war very far away, but the president wants to stop the killing and he wants to save lives. Reagan, go ahead.
What you were saying, Caroline.
Reagan, go ahead.
I have two questions for you. It's just about, if I may, just about the tariffs, the first part. I get the secondary tariffs, but there was only $3 billion worth of trade between the U.S. and Russia in 2024. It's expected to be far less this particular year. On April the 2nd, both you and the Treasury Secretary said it's not necessary to apply any tariffs on Russia. You said that because of the lack of trade, it precludes, that was the word you used, any need for tariffs. Why now, and why do you think that that would make them cave and come to some sort of peace agreement as it relates to Ukraine?
$3 billion is still a lot of money, John, and it's not just tariffs, it's the secondary sanctions as well that will be implemented in 50 days. Reagan.
Caroline. I have two questions for you.
Sure.
First on Congress. Congresswoman Salazar introduced legislation that would give some illegal immigrants in the country a path to citizenship. 10 Republicans signed on to what she's calling the Dignity Act. I'm curious what the White House's position is on the legislation and if the president would veto this bill if it needed to discuss.
From my understanding, the White House nor the president has actually read through this legislation. We've been focused on, of course, the One Big Beautiful Bill, which passed, which is another historic accomplishment of this president in record time. The Genius Act this week, the rescissions package, that's been the focus of the White House. But the president has made it very clear he will not support amnesty for illegal aliens in any way.
I want to give you a chance to respond to the CEO of NPR. She's claiming that the cuts to their network will, quote, be a real risk to public safety of the country. Congressman Murkowski has argued that public broadcasting stations save lives. Could you respond to these concerns?
The NPR CEO said cutting NPR will be a risk to public safety. I am not sure how NPR helps the public safety of our country, but I do know that NPR, unfortunately, has become really just a propaganda voice for the left. Just a few examples for you. In 2020, NPR refused to cover the Hunter Biden laptop scandal in the run-up to the election. They said their assertions don't amount to much, writing they did not want to waste the listeners' and readers' time on stories that are just pure distractions. That does not sound like an unbiased opinion. That sounds like a partisan opinion to me. And this is a taxpayer-funded organization. In 2018, that same CEO that you're talking about called the president in the Oval Office, who nearly 80 million Americans elected, she called him racist, shared a photo of herself wearing a Biden for President campaign hat, serves on the board of a Soros-funded activist group. In 2020, PBS's White House correspondent at the time characterized President Trump's speech then at Mount Rushmore as a love letter to white resentment, promoting the myth of America. In 2017, PBS devoted an entire panel talking about what it means to be woke and white privilege. In 2023, PBS's Washington Week Roundtable covered up Joe Biden's clear mental divide. That's actually quite the clip. I would encourage all of you to look at it. These are not honest news organizations. These are partisan, left-wing outlets that are funded by the taxpayers. And this administration does not believe it's a good use of the taxpayers' time and money. Ed Lawrence.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. I want to ask you about the Federal Reserve. So does the president believe that the slightly restrictive monetary policy stance right now, could that cause an economic slowdown? And if he does believe that, when?
What pause are you referring to?
No, could the stance of the monetary policy is slightly restrictive? Does the president believe that that stance, the slightly restrictive stance, could cause an economic slowdown in itself?
I haven't heard the president discuss that specifically, but what I do know in regards to the Federal Reserve is the president's been very transparent about his displeasure with both the policies and the management of the Fed. And he spoke about that to all of you pretty extensively in the Oval Office yesterday.
And last month, one more if I could. Last month, the Canadian Prime Minister said the president had agreed to a July 21st deadline to sort of work towards a trade agreement. That's 4 days from now. Could there be a trade agreement with Canada in 4 days?
Well, look, we'll see. The trade team continues to be very active in our conversations and discussions with Canada. The president himself has said, unfortunately, our neighbors to the north have been pretty difficult to deal with when it comes to matters on trade. But in trade, generally speaking, as you know, 25 countries have received letters thus far from the president directly with his big, beautiful signature on them, from Japan to Korea, South Africa, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, just a few countries, and Canada also received a letter for 35%. With that said, if countries want to have legitimate further discussions, the Trump administration and the president's trade team are willing to have further talks. But these letters these countries have been receiving are the deals. And as the president has said, those deals will be made. They are tailor-made to each and every country based on the United States' concerns and what's in the best interest of the American worker and the American people. Charlie, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline.
No, I called on Charlie, but Deanna, you can go ahead too. Go ahead.
The president said that he floated the idea of a special prosecutor in the Epstein case. Can you confirm that?
Yes.
Has he asked the Attorney General to do this, to appoint a special prosecutor to look it over?
Well, the idea was floated from someone in the media to the president. The president would not recommend a special prosecutor in the Epstein case. That's how he feels. And as for his discussions with the Attorney General, I'm not sure. Deanna.
Caroline, thank you so much. Do you know what the president's reaction was to Mike Johnson saying that he wants additional files released, the Epstein files? Was there a conversation with Mike Johnson about that following his comments?
I won't discuss the president's private conversations with the Speaker of the House, but as I answered to Jackie's question earlier, the president has said if the Attorney General and the Department of Justice and the FBI have any more credible evidence in regards to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, they should put that forward. He has called on them to do that.
Sure. Thank you, Caroline.
With a few days.
I'll go to all of you, starting with the lady in the blue. Go ahead.
With a few days to the August 9th deadline, how are the negotiations with Europe going? There's some sticking points. What are they? Can we expect a delay, or should we expect a deal soon?
Well, I believe the deadline is August 1st. As for the European Union, they continue to be very eager in negotiating with our country for obvious reasons on ways to lower their tariff and their non-tariff barriers that we have long said harm our workers and our companies. So the president's trade team continue to be in talks with the European Union.
Would he accept, or would he put forth a postponement of the August 1st?
He's already said he will not.
Caroline,
Owen, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Caroline. In Gaza today, Holy Family Catholic Church was struck by an Israeli shell.
Yes.
3 people were killed, 10 wounded.
What is the president's reaction to that church coming under fire?
It was not a positive reaction. He called Prime Minister Netanyahu this morning to address the strikes on that church in Gaza. And I understand the Prime Minister agreed to put out a statement. It was a mistake by the Israelis to hit that Catholic church. That's what the Prime Minister relayed to the President. And you should look at the Prime Minister's statement that will be coming out. Steve, go ahead.
Back to your letter that you read at the beginning.
Sure.
The President, you said mild swelling in his legs. Is it causing him any discomfort? How are you treating it?
Nope. No discomfort from the president at all. And you probably all see that on a day-to-day basis. He's working around the clock. As for the treatments, I can defer to the president's physician, and we'll get you this letter. I think it will answer all your questions.
There are reports that a Chinese-born banker who works in Atlanta for Wells Fargo is being prevented from leaving China. Has the president, is he going to bring this up with President Xi? Are you aware of the case?
I'm not aware of the case, but I'm sure our National Security Council team is. Steve will get you some answers on that.
Kristen. Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions. So the first is that President Trump said that the Attorney General only gave him a brief overview of what was in these Epstein files. Does he have knowledge or an understanding of what is in the files related to Epstein that have not been released?
Not to my knowledge, and that's a question for the Attorney General, as I said, and the President has told the Attorney General if they have any more credible evidence, they should release it.
Is that evidence, would she have to run that by the President before she released it?
I don't think so. He said if she has any more credible evidence, she should release it.
Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, yes.
Great. Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions. One, today.
And you can go ahead, Andrew. Don't worry.
Today, tens of thousands of folks are rallying nationwide to honor the legacy of Congressman John Lewis. Meanwhile, Republicans in Texas reportedly are working to redraw congressional maps at President Trump's urging. How is President Trump reconciling his call to action for Texas Republicans with the legacy of Representative John Lewis?
I'm not quite sure how the two things are related. I think the president would agree that John Lewis served our country for many, many years. It has nothing to do with the redistricting efforts that are currently underway by Texas Republicans to add seats to their legislature. They have the right to do that. The president spoke to the congressmen and women who serve the great state of Texas about it, but it's up to them and it's up to their legislature to get that approved.
And Caroline, just a second question.
Go
Does
ahead.
the president support the Justice Department's request for just 1 day in jail for the officer convicted in Breonna Taylor's killing? And what message does he believe that sends to her family and to other families seeking justice in cases of police violence?
I haven't talked to the president about that case. Go ahead.
Just the president, when the president met the interim president of Syria a couple of months ago, he described him as a young, tough, attractive guy. After the latest clashes in Syria over the last few days, does President Trump still support Syria's interim president?
The president still supports Syria's pathway to a peaceful and prosperous country. And you received an update directly from the Secretary of State on the ongoing situation between Syria and Israel. I spoke to him myself this morning to get an update. And as soon as the United States became involved in this conflict, we were able to de-escalate, deconflict. That seems to be continuing. Syria agreed to draw back their troops that were in the area where that clash was ongoing, and we continue to be very actively monitoring the situation. The president wants to see Syria become a prosperous and stable country, and by the lifting of the sanctions on Syria, he's giving them a real chance to do that, and he wants to see that through. Andrew, go ahead.
So on Tuesday, the president told a very detailed story about his uncle, noted scientist John Trump, and Theodore Kaczynski, the late Unabomber. He said that Dr. Trump taught Ted Kaczynski. Ted Kaczynski was not identified as the Unabomber until 1996, 11 years after John Trump passed away. It would have been impossible for John Trump to have ever discussed the Unabomber with the president. So what was he talking about? And I have one follow-up.
Andrew, with so many issues going on in the world, I'm a little bit surprised you would ask such a question, although I'm not sometimes coming from you, I will say, but I'm willing to give you an answer. Nevertheless, the president's uncle did, in fact, teach at MIT. He was a very intelligent professor. The president's very proud of his family. In fact, the president has a letter from his uncle on the MIT letterhead that sits in the Oval Office dining room. Maybe we'll let you see it sometime.
And then one,
Elizabeth.
Caroline, one more.
Elizabeth,
will the
go ahead.
president consider pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell
Elizabeth,
if the Epstein case is a hoax?
Okay, I'll start off with the president said last week he would not be getting involved in the New York City mayoral case. If that
You skipped that
mayoral
question.
race is still the case,
You skipped that
given
question.
his history drawing a large crowd in New York City, what's his reason for staying out of it in that way?
Well, look, I think the president reserves the right to get involved in races or not get involved in races, and he's made the decision not to weigh in on the New York mayoral race, as you rightly pointed out, although he has gone as far to say he absolutely does not want to see Zemdami elected, who is a known communist who supports the abolishment of private property, the defunding of police. He has made very well-known anti-Semitic statements. It would be a disaster for New York and for this country. And I think it's quite telling that this individual, a known communist, has been spending time in Washington this week meeting with leaders on Capitol Hill. This is truly where the Democrat Party is headed. Clearly, they learned nothing from November 5th in the president's overwhelming victory. Mary, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. I want to backtrack to the hospitals that have stopped providing transgender surgeries and hormones for kids. On this front, does that have anything to do with the DOJ subpoenas last week? Should we expect any more hospitals to be shutting down their programs? And I wanted to also ask what you make of all these media reports, especially the AP, which I noticed, which portrays these children as losing something that's saving their lives.
Yes, I think the president spoke a lot about this issue, which is a political issue, but also really a cultural issue that impacts children and families. He talked about it a lot on the campaign, and I think he was quite surprised by the uptick we were seeing in the embracement by the Democrat Party when it comes to the chemical castration and mutilation of young, innocent bodies. And so the president made it a very early priority to sign very strong executive orders to cut off the funding for any hospital or any medical facility in this country that provides such barbaric procedures. And as a result of that strong policy and the president's strong common sense position on this issue, we've had such an overwhelming response, which is great for children in Arizona. Phoenix Children's Hospital has stopped providing puberty blockers and hormone therapy to minors. In California, Stanford Medicine ended sex change surgeries for minors. Children's Hospital Los Angeles is closing its Center for Trans Youth Health and Development surgical program. In Illinois, Lurie Children's Hospital Chicago stopped sex change surgeries. Again, let's think about what we're talking about here. Sex change surgeries for minors. These are barbaric practices that no innocent child should have to endure. And the president wants to protect the innocence of children. And I know the vast majority of Americans support him in that effort. This is a wildly popular and common sense endeavor this administration has taken. And we've seen many of these medical institutions have followed through with the president's executive orders, but we'll continue to take further action on this important issue. Garrett.
I too, if you'll indulge me.
Sure.
On the rescissions package, I wonder what the White House makes of this theory that it increases the odds of a shutdown. The theory is basically, why would any Democrat vote for a bipartisan spending deal with Republicans if Republicans can turn around and claw the money back the next day?
Look, $9 billion worth of crap that it was in our federal funding that is now being rescinded. This is a good thing for the American people and the American taxpayer. And I think our Office of Management and Budget Director was saying this process should be more bipartisan. Democrats, there was a time in this country where Democrats too cared about getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse in our federal spending. I think every American agrees the government spends way too much money on things that don't matter. Some of those things includes PBS and NPR, or for instance, the Democracy Fund, which was funded to the tune of $83 million through the Department of State, but they were giving hundreds of thousands of dollars for gender equality and empowerment hubs in Yemen, $3.9 million for strengthening information integrity, equality, and democracy for LGBTQI population of the Western Balkans. These are not good uses of the taxpayer funds, and Republicans are proud to lead that effort, and we wish more Democrats would join us in that.
I wanted to follow up on the Maurene Comey question just to clarify. Did the White House have any knowledge, or did the president sign off on her firing?
This was a decision that was made by the Department of Justice.
There was an agreement that was
Comey.
made, between
They just said
Immigration and
Comey.
Customs Enforcement and the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services regarding access to Medicaid information for 92 million Medicaid recipients around the country. That includes health information. So how does that not violate HIPAA violations and privacy concerns, for example, of American citizens?
I'm going to have to defer you to Immigration and Customs Enforcement on that. I'm unfamiliar with that agreement that they made.
Thanks, Caroline. Two questions. Russ Vought said today he's going to be looking into cost overruns in the Fed's renovation projects. Is there a deadline for him to come back with findings to the president?
I don't believe there's a deadline the president has set for Russ Vought, but I think, again, this is a good use of taxpayers' time to look into this project that is millions and millions of dollars over budget. It's for a big, beautiful mansion for the federal chairman, reserve chairman, and I understand that it costs much more than it did the beautiful palace that many of you joined us at when we went overseas. So it's completely unnecessary. It's overpriced. And I think it's a good thing the administration, led by the president, is looking into it.
If there were to find wrongdoing or fraud, would the president reconsidering firing Jerome Powell?
Look, it's a hypothetical question. We'll see where it goes. The president spoke about how he feels on this matter yesterday.
Sure. Thank
Go
you
ahead.
so much, Caroline. So we saw Ambassador Huckabee arrive to Prime Minister Netanyahu's trial to show his support. Does the president plan to impose any kind of sanctions against the Israel judicial system?
I don't have any update for you on that or any announcement on that front. I don't believe so.
Does the president believe that justice has been served in the Epstein case?
Look, the president believes that he directed the Department of Justice to do an exhaustive and thorough review, and they did that. And they all agreed, the FBI director, the deputy FBI director, the attorney general, on the memo that they drafted and they released.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Caroline. Just a follow-up on Reagan's question. Representative Salazar's bill, it grants illegal aliens with legal status for 7-year increments. It also gives permanent path to residency for so-called dreamers. And, you know, President Trump and Labor Secretary Chavez, who previously co-sponsored a version of this bill when she was in the House, they've spoken about a work deal similar to the bill, I believe. What's the difference between a work deal and amnesty?
Look, as I told Reagan, the president, the White House have not reviewed this specific piece of legislation. It's just not where our focus has been. But the president, for one, has been very clear. He does not support amnesty. We'll go to, look at some friends in the back. Brian, go ahead. You didn't show up early enough to get some good real estate up here.
I love it. Any update on the auto pen? I know that there was the DOJ and some others were looking into the thousands of documents that were signed off just before Joe Biden left office. Any update on the auto pen?
Yes. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at how far away you are. And you're going to need to get some microphones back there. And the auto pen investigation, yes. The White House counsel's office has launched their own investigation into former President Biden's usage of the auto pen. We have requested some documents from the National Archives. And again, as I've said many times from this podium, and the president has said as well, it's incredibly important that we get to the bottom of who really was at the tip of the spear in the decision-making process here in the White House, because former President Biden himself admitted to the New York Times, I understand he never gave interviews when he was here, but now all of a sudden he wants to give one. And he said that he did not actually review every single pardon that he signed on his way out the door. That's incredibly concerning. And I can tell you it's something this president would never tolerate. This is a president who is signing things all the time. Any document that has legal implications, this president's signature is on it because he's the one making the decisions. It does not appear that was the truth in the previous White House. And I know the American people want to receive answers on who was running the show, because the decisions that were made in this place really destroyed our country. And we deserve to get to the bottom of it. Mark, in the back.
Thanks. Some Christian groups are complaining that they are not able to get visas as quickly to travel to Israel. And it's been elevated to Ambassador Huckabee's station. Is the White House aware of that? Does it have any reaction to that? And is that part of the president's disappointment with Netanyahu's government?
Look, I'm not aware of that, Mark, but I'm sure, again, our National Security Council is, and also the State Department, as you know, travel visas roll through Secretary Rubio's shop over there, whom we work very closely with. So we will check in on the matter. But I know overall, this president and the administration do want to streamline the visa process to make it easier for both Americans who want to travel abroad and people abroad who want to come to our country the legal way. Go ahead. I was going to the gentleman above you, but go ahead, Libby, and then you.
Okay, two questions for you. The first is during the Hill Nation Summit, Secretary Noem suggested there could be some changes to TSA's liquid limits. Is the president aware of that? Is that an idea that he's backing? And what would that timeline and the changes look like?
Sure, I would defer you to the Department of Homeland Security, but I did see Secretary Noem's comments, and I think it's great that on day one, she asked TSA, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? How can we make air travel more efficient? While maintaining utmost security for American passengers and travelers. And I know they announced no more shoes, or you don't need to take off your shoes anymore at the airport, which I think is welcome news to all of us who travel a lot. But further guidance or decisions, of course, that's in the Secretary of Homeland Security's overview, and I would defer to her.
And the other question for you is on Bondi and Burgum's trip today to Alcatraz. I'm curious what the funding is going to look like for that and who the president does want to see incarcerated there if it were to become.
Sure. Well, this was an idea of the president. He spoke about it in May, and he directed his administration to review a reopening plan for Alcatraz if it is possible, which is why the Attorney General and the Secretary of Interior have traveled there today. They are touring the site. And if the Alcatraz prison is reopened, it would be under the purview of the Bureau of Prisons. And the Secretary of Interior also would play a big role in this as well. So they're there to review the site today, and I'm sure you'll hear more from them on it later. And just to follow up, Libby, on who the president wants to see housed in Alcatraz, the worst of the worst criminals in this country, both American criminals who convict heinous crimes, but also illegal alien criminals before deportation as well. Sure. Go ahead.
The State Department yesterday urged the Chinese Communist Party to cease its campaign to eradicate Falun Gong, a peaceful spiritual practice. With the anniversary of this brutal persecution approaching, does the White House have a message for the CCP on this?
Well, I will get you one, and we will get back to you. Sure. Go ahead. We'll take. Go ahead, and then go ahead. Sure. I've never called on you. Why don't you go ahead? In the red tie. Dr. Harper behind.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Me, thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, Caroline.
Yes, you. What's your name?
My name is Matias. Thank you.
What's your outlet?
I'm for Record TV, Brazil.
Great.
Brazil's President Lula recently said that President Trump was elected to govern the United States and not to act as the emperor of the world. And he also emphasized that Brazil is open to negotiation. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it, what the administration has to say about it, and specifically what areas are currently open to negotiation in the light of the 50% tariffs that were announced.
Her face.
The president is certainly not trying to be the emperor of the world. He is a strong president for the United States of America, and he's also the leader of the free world. And we've seen a great shift across the entire globe because of the strong leadership of this president. In regards to Brazil, the president sent a letter to Brazil announcing their new tariff percentage. He also directed our USTR ambassador, Jamieson Greer, to launch an investigation of Brazil under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974, designed to address unfair foreign practices that are affecting U.S. commerce. For years, we know Brazil's digital regulations and weak IP protections have undermined U.S. tech and innovative companies, and their tolerance of illegal deforestation and other environmental practices puts American producers, manufacturers, farmers, and ranchers who follow better environmental standards at a competitive disadvantage. So this president always acts in the best interest of the American people and the United States of America, and he will continue to do so. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you later. I appreciate the enthusiasm today.
Well, that was that. Okay, hold up. I gotta put this on mute. The battery of my camera is about to die, which is absolutely fine because we're gonna be off here pretty soon. But there was a question in the crowd that was asking her about Maxwell, and she like deliberately skipped over that question. She didn't want to hear it. Hey, how many questions did we get in there? We got a lot of questions. A lot of reporters were bringing this up, and I'm here for it. I mean, she couldn't answer. It wasn't the topic of conversation, but she kind of knew that this was going to be the thing that would be asked. It was multiple questions. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go because I got to go tend to baby bunny. But you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments about this whole situation, and I will see you guys later. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, and thank you for those that supported the stream today. But I got to go. We got to go? No. We don't? Okay. I will see you guys later. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye. My camera's about to die. Say bye. Bye. She says bye. Bye, guys.